Hey everybody, Jimmy from the Triple C Collective here for another Sci-Fi Sunday for Kenobi Part 5. Man, we've only got one more left, and I've been really loving this show. The first four episodes have been really great. The first, two-thirds of it. Episode 5 did not disappoint. And really, without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and jump into this because this episode was just really cool, and it was really like kind of everything like we had kind of hoped for and were kind of promised in things of like what we would see and stuff happening. So let's just dive in. We start off with the flashback, and we get the flashback that we've been dying for, basically, of Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, lightsaber training against Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker, and it's just fantastic. It's so good. We get Anakin saying, like, Master, I didn't think you were coming. Are you ready? And I am. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. We get that, and then it's the sabers clash, and then we get a cut to Vader. Then we're on Vader's ship. They Riva is calling like Vader. Or no, I'm sorry. Vader is calling Riva to the command center, and is demanding an update. Are you sure the tracker is on there? Yes, it is. They are landing on Jabeam now. We get again. We still have James Earl Jones. I love that I love that everybody came back for it. Like I said, from episode 1 on, it is so awesome that that everyone came back. That they were able to get everyone back for whatever reason. Everyone decided, like, hey, I want another go at it, or like, I just love doing this, of course. Whatever it is. So James Earl Jones, being back, coming back as the voice of Vader is always a delight to hear. And like, we get a lot of Vader in this. We get a lot of it, and it's awesome. I love every little bit we get. We get the kneel and rise, Grand Inquisitor, which is exactly like what Riva's been aiming for this entire time, or at least like what we've seen, or what we kind of been led to believe, at least, that Riva wants to become the Grand Inquisitor, and wants to help Obi-Wan and like help capture Obi-Wan Kenobi, and like be in the absolute greatest graces of Vader. And then we get Vader, of course, being like, set a course for, I'm not even going to try it, set a course for Jabeam. We're in the Jabeam stronghold then. Obi-Wan is walking out saying, like, hey, we got her with Leia. We see Naja, Kumail Nanjiani's character. I love him so much. He's so good. And I like on how it was a fake out that he wasn't a Jedi, that he is a good guy. He just likes to make a buck. As he says, and whatever. But it was nice seeing him, and like Obi-Wan's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, after I helped you, I found the Inquisitor lady, got into a fight, and now I'm wanted by the Empire. And then Obi-Wan's like, well, I'm glad, like, you made it and you're here. Can you watch Leia? How can we help? And Roken, O'Shea Jackson Jr. is like, let's get ready for a dust-off. The only reason I'm like laughing about dust off here is because I have a daughter and she is under 3 years old, and we watch Bluey, and there's an episode of Bluey that's all about being in the army, and like one of the dogs in it talks about dust offs and stuff. So it's like just hilarious for me to like hear this here, and it shouldn't be like funny. Like, I should be kind of worried for these people, like they're trying to get out of there and like escape, like a dust off, like calling for the escape and like whatnot is like the only thing that they have here. But it's just really interesting that like we watch that all the time, and then it like shows up here in one of my shows now instead of one of her shows. we're cut back to Vader's ship approaching their approach to Jabeam and like the hyperspace and everything. He's telling them to lock down the facility. Riva's like, well, like they can hold out for days if we don't break them. And Vader's like, it's not them we need to break, it's him. And that's true. It's very true. Like they don't need to. They don't need to break everyone down there. They just need to break Obi-Wan's will, and like that's all really who Vader really wants here. Like everyone else is just kind of like a bonus, but it's really Obi-Wan that is, the main prize for them. So that's always like that's very interesting. Not very interesting, but it's like interesting on how it's so like tunnel vision for him, and like how, and like I mean, I guess they've been saying it the whole series, right? Riva's really been the one who's been like Obi-Wan to everyone, and like so I guess she's been kind of like Vader's puppet in that way, relaying all of that information and stuff to us. So that's it's interesting though that they're like still that he's still so focused on Obi-Wan. We get a cut back to the to the Jabeam stronghold. This is where we get Lola. Lola being a real POS. And Lola leaves and heads to the controls and starts doing her little nefarious stuff. Obi-Wan sees this like crate that on the top has like a cloth laid with like, I don't know, 7 or 8 different lightsabers and stuff there. He grabs a cloak, and then we get the hatch closes, like the hangar roof closes. It's like, and that's all because of Lola, that little POS. She turned her back. Well, she got kind of reprogrammed by Riva, we can only assume. But yeah, Lola did it. It was all her. Then they start getting all of the like warnings and stuff. The Imperials have shown up above them. They're like they're referring to the third sister, Riva the Inquisitor, like she's tracked us here. And Obi-Wan's like, no, it's not her. It's it's Vader. So Obi-Wan has an impassionate speech here where he's trying to like rally the troops, and he's like, if we can't surrender, if they, they'll kill us all. What if they attack? And Obi-Wan's like, oh no, they will attack. Anakin has no patience for siege. And then we get cut to the flashback, and we get Obi-Wan being like, Anakin, you can't be like so aggressive. Like Jedi are meant to defend life, not take it. And they go back, boom, boom, boom. And Anakin's like, your enemies have no mercy. Mercy doesn't defeat your enemies. You're gonna lose. Then we get cut back to later. Vader launching his attack. Then we get the good Obi-Wan like speech, like they're gonna attack soon. They're stronger, better equipped, and trained than us, but we don't have to fight them. We just have to hold them off long enough for us to escape. And he's like, Roken, how long do you need to override the controls? And he's like, I don't know, 3-4 hours. And Obi-Wan's like, you've got one. You've got 1 hour to do this, sir. That is it. You've got 1 hour to do this. Lock down all of the other entrances, and hopefully by the time they get in, we will be gone. And this is just great. I just love it so much. I love this episode. It's so much fun. It's it has the real urgency. Like this here, this bit of like being in Jabim totally feels like it's fitting for part 5 to have this, but it totally has the feel of the attack of Hoth here, that opening to Empire and stuff. Like it really has that like tension and like that pressure building and stuff. And if I think personally, if there's been one thing that Kenobi, the show Obi-Wan Kenobi's done really well, is like keep like tension in scenes and stuff. And like every time we cut back to like the Jabim stronghold here, like I feel it. And like every time we're like back with Vader and stuff, like I feel the encroaching tension. And like it's great. It's great. The total feel and vibes that they put out here for this stuff has been awesome. I've really loved it. But now we get the excuse me. Now we're getting the montage of events of like getting the stronghold together, making it safe, secure, welding things, everyone bringing things together. We get the descent of the 2 ships full of stormtroopers and Reva, and then like we get their descent and landing, and then more like fixing. We get we get everything. We get all of this. We get the landing and the boom 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 unloading of all the stormtroopers and stuff. And like that's actually has got some really really cool, like I can only assume like dolly shots of some sort in it, of like just kind of like encompassing the stormtroopers as they're landing, unloading, setting up the heavy gun, and everyone getting out and aiming their guns, their blasters at the sealed door that is the stronghold here on Jabim. And it's great. We cut back into the stronghold, and we're on the receiving end now, from their perspective of like seeing the front like getting all blasted and shot at. They're like still pressuring they're still pressuring Roken to open the roof. They try, it's like boom 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 boom. Kumail Nanjiani is like, well, that was Naja is like it's like, well, that was underwhelming. And Roken Shea Jackson Jr. is like, you know what? I don't need your opinion right now. Don't need your opinion right now. Then Roken's asked if he's checked events, and he's like, I'm kind of do you see me really fitting into vents? I haven't gone into any vents or anything like that. We get Leia out of nowhere start walking up being like, I need a ladder then. And he's like, well, Princess, this isn't a time to like play, like we've got to really figure this stuff out. And Obi-Wan's like, get her a ladder. And Roken's like, what? He's like, if you trust me, I trust her. Get her a ladder and let her try. And then he's like, Leia, be careful. Leia goes up into the vent. Obi-Wan turns to Naja, is like, you watch her. And then Obi-Wan goes off and checks the message that he has. The message is from Bail Organa being like, hey, I know we said no communication, but I haven't heard any kind of update or anything from you. Like, I'm worried about it. If I continue not to hear anything for, I forget how long he says, he'll head to Tatooine because Owen will need help with, like, Luke and everything. I hope you stay safe. Then we get Tala, like, sees Obi-Wan right after, like, at the tail end of him watching that message. And, Tala and Obi-Wan have been talking, or at least the little bits that we see them talk. They talk about the guilt of, like, the things that they have done or lack thereof, or, like, not getting things done, like Anakin, Obi-Wan not saving Anakin. And then Tala tells the story of, she was a party to the deaths of 14 people, 6 of them being children. And so she shows her, like, blaster holster, and is like, so now I do this, and she makes a little tally for each person now that she saves to try and, like, make up for it and know that she has changed and, like, is doing the right thing and, like, going down the right path and stuff now. So, like, it's really great. Like, they show a lot of the guilt that people are having here. Like, beside just Obi-Wan, we know, like, what Obi-Wan's guilt is. We continually see it. He still is also supposed to, like, we were told in the recap at the beginning of episode 1 that Yoda was going to teach him how to connect and talk to, his old master, Qui-Gon. So, like, in some form, we've got to hear Liam Neeson come back again, either as just a voice or a full-on Force ghost or something. Like, and now it's got to happen. Hopefully, next episode. We can only hope. I hope so. I hope we get it. Hope we see that. But now they're talking about doing a season 2, so that all of those plans and stuff might have really changed now for everything that they were doing and kind of had planned and everything. If they're gonna do if they're doing an episode, if they do a second season, I don't know, because I kind of would have liked to have seen how they originally, like, intended to end it, because apparently they're only doing this now because of popularity. Not necessarily because they were full-blown, like, hey, let's do a second season, so I don't know how I feel about that. But I am excited to continue on talking about this episode. We get the, Tala, tells the story. She does this now for everyone she can't get through. She finishes that off by saying, like, you can never forget, but you can never forget, like, what you did or what happened. You'll never forget that. But you can fight for something new, for something better. And that's the way that Tala looks at, like, what she's doing and everything. Then we get the Tala and Obi-Wan are interrupted by Roken saying, like, we're in trouble, not sure how much longer this front door will last. And Obi-Wan's like, I will buy us time. I'm going to go out there. They're like, what? You can't leave us. Don't leave us. We need you here. You can't give up. And so Reva and Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan goes and talks to Reva through the door. And she's like, I hope you're not stalling. Stalling for time, like, won't work. Isn't going to work for you. Lord Vader will have you. He will, have you. And, Obi-Wan corrects her, and he's like, you mean Anakin on Daiyu? How'd you know that Vader was Anakin? Because, like, Vader would have kept that close to him. It's not something that he wants a bunch of people knowing. And, you're too young to have, like, known him or anything like that. And then it dawns on Obi-Wan, like, oh, you were a youngling. And then we get the full-on flashbacks explanation of Reva being one of the little kids that we saw in the cold open of Order 66 with, like, Hayden Christensen's Anakin, who just turned before he corrupts his Kyber crystal and turns it red, walking down slaying all the younglings. And she, mistakenly, like we see, and through her explanation, that that she survived. She hid among the, like, dead bodies. Obi-Wan's like, you're not serving him, you're hunting him. Like, let me help you. And then Reva does a really good thing. She's like, do you really want Anakin dead? Do you? Like, where were you when Anakin was coming after us, coming to slay us and everything and kill us all and cut us down? Like, he was your Padawan, wasn't he? Like, why didn't you come and help? I don't need your help. I don't need anyone. And she's like, you have no idea what I've done alone. And she ignites her lightsaber, sticks it through, and cuts the like lock basically that was holding the door, and we get the battle for the hangar now. And this is awesome. This is like truly great. This is, I mean, this is exactly what I would have expected had they shown more of the inside fighting on the Battle of Hoth. Like, they really didn't do it. We see a little bit of like the siege and the intake and like coming in, but there's not like full on like both sides firing, deflect, fighting and like full on going at it like that. It's usually from the outside, like the AT-ATs, going for the power generators and all that stuff. But yeah, this is so great. It's so much fun. The tension here, like, of course, is like great. And the lightsaber like action with Obi-Wan is amazing here. All of his deflections and stuff are just so good. Then we get the cut to to Najed calling to like Leia, like, hey Leia, hurry up, we gotta go, we gotta speed this up, girl, please, we gotta hurry. And Leia's like, it's a red breaker, where'd it go? Like, I need to find it. Then we get the siege back from like that main hangar room to being pushed into a hallway to where it turns out that there was two rooms. There's this opening room that this front room basically that has the opening door there. Then there's a little feeding tunnel that goes back. Then there's the actual hangar with the roof that allows them to get out. Initially in the episode, like when we started, like when we see the doors go whoop, like that entrance, I thought right above them was also this doorway, but that's not true. It's in a whole nother section here. And so that's what we get. We get Leia cut to her section in the hangar roof because that's what she's doing, working in the vents trying to find the red breaker. Now we get a cut back to the hallway and everyone's still battling, getting pushed back into the other hangar. And and Tala gets shot, and we get the loading droid like is like killed and shot, and like kind of like hunches over right in front of her like this, and they're left together. Obi-Wan's like, no, but he's also like back behind the doors, and she's like, no, like, you stay, I've got a bomb basically. And that's what she does. Tala ignites that little grenade bomb as she like locks Obi-Wan out from being able, like, she shoots the little panel, make sure that, as everybody does in like Star Wars, they always shoot the panel to lock the door. So Tala does that to make sure that Obi-Wan doesn't like do something foolish and run after her as well. They're falling into their backup position, and they're still trying to work on getting that door open. We get a cut to Vader's ship, and he gets the report that they've broken through the doors. Tell her to stand down. Kenobi is already ours. Then we get the flashback back to them training. This is a great fight here. Like, this is awesome. I can't wait for, I kind of want to, I wish at some point that they would just give us these flashback scenes of right here of just this like battle, just back to back, like just exactly how it is, like each section just back to back for like but the whole 5 minutes that it is total of the episode or whatever, or like 10 minutes maybe, whatever it is. But taking all 4 or 5 of those sections that we get of the flashback here and just putting them back to back, I would love it. Because this is in this portion here right after like the Vader being like, Kenobi is already ours, we get the flashback. It's great. It's an awesome fight. Anakin's really on the offensive, and Anakin is like beating down Obi-Wan to where Obi-Wan is kneeling with like one hand, and he's got the hand down and the saber up, and like Anakin's like, there's no way out. Like, admit you were beaten. Cut back to the hangar. We get Obi-Wan saying, like, So he's in. He just saw Tala, die, blow herself up, and that caused the stormtroopers and everybody to retreat for a second. Call themselves back. Obviously, some of them still died and got taken out or whatever, but Reva was able to call herself back. So now they're inside the hangar, and this is where Roken's like, "You can't quit. I've worked too hard. We've fought too hard to get here, and you're just gonna quit on us? You can't go back out there. You just can't do it. And Obi-Wan's like, I'm gonna stop him." And not just like, "Oh my God, are you gonna fight him?" Because that's what every fan is thinking right here. It's like, "Oh my God, is this really gonna happen? Are they really gonna battle? Are they gonna duke it out here? Is it gonna be happening? Are they throwing cannon out the window?" No, they're not. They're not throwing cannon out the window because Obi-Wan says it right here. I'm gonna stop him, and I don't need to fight him. There's more than one way to fight without weapons and stuff. So I'm gonna find, this is the way that I am going to use to save us, because using the weapons, I need to find another way. Leia is still being spied on by Lola. Lola is still up there in that control portion with the breakers and stuff of the vent, and is always peeping. Lola's always peeping out around the corner, checking out, Leia, did you do it? Did you do it yet? Because I gotta attack you when you do. Gotta get you. So yeah, Lola is just being spied on, or Lola is just spying on Leia. Obi-Wan is brought out to Reva, and they talk again. You did not bring me, Obi-Wan's telling Reva, "You did not bring me to him. I brought him to you. I brought him to you. There's families and children back there." Obi-Wan's pleading to Reva, trying to be "Hey, please don't do this. Do not do this. This is bad. Please do not do this. This is bad. This is not what we want. This is not, don't do this. We have children, families back there. Are you really going to let him do this again? Are you really going to be a party to that? Let's end this together. He'll never see this coming. He will never see this coming. And Reva's like, "Well, what if he does?" And Obi-Wan's like, No. All he will see is me. Obi-Wan's like, No. All he will see is me. Then we get the flashback one more time. And this is great. Obi-Wan is still on his knee. Anakin does a wind-up. Almost like a wind-up kill blow, almost. Seems like he's trying to do. And Obi-Wan, in that wind-up, in that, taking just a second too long for it, Obi-Wan escapes. Then we get an awesome, standing offensive attack. It's do. Anakin's, moving forward on the offensive. We get saber to saber. Anakin is, pushing like this. They're pushing, saber to, I guess, saber to saber like that, and Anakin then is pushing Obi-Wan into, backing him up almost into, a pillar, knocks away his, Anakin knocks away Obi-Wan's lightsaber, and after, Obi-Wan, falls to his knee and has his lightsaber, pointing down like this, Anakin, knocks it and it falls away, and, and Anakin has his lightsaber at Obi-Wan. He's like, "Your weapon is gone, it's over." And Obi-Wan, of course, sneaks out underneath. Obi-Wan, of course, sneaks out underneath the arm of, oops, not yet. He says, Obi-Wan says here, "Your need for victory blinds you." We get back to Vader. Then we cut back to Vader being on Jabim. Reva is waiting there, Vader's like, "Where is he?" "I have him secured inside We get the hangar. Lola attacks. Leia helps. Lola attacks. Leia helps Lola like get her stuff undone, and then they're able to get the door open. Everything's set. Leia gets down. Doors are open. They're all getting ready to head to the transport. Leia asks, "Where's Tala?" And Obi-Wan does like the silent gesture, talking with his face thing, that she's gone, she's no longer here, and it kind of sucks. Yeah, it definitely sucks. I know. Everything's set. They get to the transport. Vader's approach and his music is amazing. Like walking down this dirt like tunnel and stuff, getting ready to get to the hangar and stuff. The Vader music is awesome. The music throughout the whole series has been fantastic. Has just been awesome. Love it all. Vader he gets into the hangar. He stops the ship from leaving. And the ship is going, and he's just using the Force, keeping it there in place. And then slowly the ship starts coming back. The engines start failing. And he gets the ship back down to the ground. Then he starts tearing off pieces of the door and the wall of the ship. Boom! Another ship leaves. It was a decoy. Obi-Wan got him. Obi-Wan got him. And Vader is just staring up at as this other ship leaves, just breathing, the doing that whole breathing thing. And it's great as the other ship just leaves, that was so cool though. I can't understate how cool it was seeing Vader ripping and holding this ship in place and then ripping it down and ripping it apart to try and get in there. And so it proves the point that of what Obi-Wan was saying, that hey, Vader's gonna be blinded, and that's how he's gonna be blinded, And to be fair, Reva didn't even know. I doubt Reva knew about the decoy ship. I mean, until I saw it, I don't even think you see the ship in the background actually. So the first time around, you when Vader enters and the first decoy ship goes off, when that ship is up in the air and Vader's holding onto it, you do see another ship all the way in the background and kind of shadowed out. So I was I didn't see that the first time through. When I did my second note watching and stuff as I was doing this, I was like, oh, you know what, it is there. That's pretty sweet. That's awesome that they did that. And then it just shoots off, and obviously Vader's just well done, and he's just staring there longingly. Then we get the final flashback. Obi-Wan slides past Anakin, hits him on the back, extending. Anakin ends up extending his lightsaber arm backwards more. Obi-Wan takes it from him, and Obi-Wan's you are a great warrior, Anakin. There's but your need to prove yourself is your undoing. Until you overcome it, turns down the lightsaber, still a Padawan. And a Padawan you'll still be. And it's great. It's awesome. And then we get Vader versus Reva, which is fan freaking tastic. Vader versus Reva is awesome because Vader is still just standing there, doing that whole breathing crazy thing that he does, staring up at them being gone, being damn it. And I don't know why Reva didn't time this better for herself, in the fact that the ship should have been ripped down and being ripped apart, and she should have been there with him and then ignited her lightsaber and gone after him. Reva, bad planning. But I mean, he does need to survive a little bit longer. Anakin, at least. Darth Vader. So Vader staring. Reva's trying to sneak up. Of course, it doesn't work. Vader, just with the Force, catches the lightsaber, pushes her back. It's a great, it's a great battle here. You know, like Vader's like, he was wise to use you against me. You know, Vader again, not using a lightsaber at all. Not using his lightsaber at this point. He is just using the Force, being like, I know kung fu and stuff, like, to her. It's great. It's like awesome. It like, and that's the thing. We usually, when we see like the intimidating Vader stuff, usually with a lightsaber, like Rogue One, anything in the original trilogy with him and stuff, like it's usually with a lightsaber. This was awesome, and he was super intimidating and super great just using the Force here. Like, wow, like it was just fantastic to watch. So cool, so good. I loved it. Loved every little second of it. And you know, Reva does like, you know, does like a weird like spin and like starts spinning her lightsaber. Vader like grabs her, slowly starts like stopping the slow of like her spinning lightsabers, her dual lightsabers, slowly starts bringing her in, like bringing her towards him, and takes her lightsaber, splits it in two, and throws the other one down at her, and then he ignites it, and then they have an awesome like lightsaber like battle, and it's great. Vader, you know, this whole battle is great, like going back and forth. I mean, Reva doesn't stand a chance. Vader beats her. There's like flashbacks to like Order 66, and you know, Vader like kills Reva, and he's like, did you not think I saw it, youngling? Then the Grand Inquisitor comes back. He's back, baby. So he shows up. He comes back and he's like, revenge will do wonders for the will to live. And, you know, your rage was useful. Now it's just tiresome. And he takes his Grand Inquisitor badge back, puts it back on his chest. You know, now we're on Obi-Wan and Roken and their ship. And, you know, Roken sits down next to Obi-Wan. You know, we've got some ship troubles. Hyperdrive is down. And they're coming up fast right behind us. Obi-Wan gets this like odd sensation, and the camera starts like turning a little bit, and he's like, is something wrong? You know, what is it? He's like, I just felt something. I'm sure it's nothing. It shouldn't be anything to worry about. We've got nothing to worry about here. We cut back to Reva. Reva is, you know, bleeding out from her lightsaber like wound and everything, and she sees the comm that was dropped when Naja and everybody were running to the transport. He dropped the comm that Obi-Wan gave him that said like, and she replays the message from Bail Organa that, you know, she listens to it, that he's going to Tatooine, there's a boy there, and, you know, like, if I don't hear from you, blah, 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 you know, like, I will go help Owen with the boy that's over there. And then we get the cut to the cut to Tatooine. It's a huge wide shot of the Lars, you know, home, and they then cut into like an above shot of like the young Luke, 10-year-old Luke or whatever, laying in his bed, sleeping, slowly zooming in. And then the episode ends, and oh my god, this episode was so good. It was so good. It was great. This was, I loved it so much. I thought it was great. I thought it was an excellent episode. I have loved Kenobi. I'm not 100% convinced that Reva's gone yet, third sister. I'm not entirely sure she's gone. She's definitely done being an Inquisitor if she survives. I'm not 100% sure that she is like out of the game yet, especially with the Grand Inquisitor living, and he said, and him even saying, let me double check my notes here. Uh, he says, "Revenge does wonders for the will to live." So, I wonder now, like, she's always wanted revenge. Now, like, on Vader, she almost had it, and now she's, like, dying. I've got a feeling that her revenge, will continue to help her live in some weird, messed up way. I mean, literally, if Darth Maul, spoilers, if you haven't watched Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff, the animated Star Wars stuff, spoilers, Darth Maul lives, and he gets weird spider legs, and then that's why you see him with those mechanical legs, because they eventually, like, form into like actual two human legs, but he gets these like weird like four legs. If you guys ever watched the movie Wild Wild West with Will Smith, the evil bad guy at the end kind of has like something like that for himself. That's basically like, it's a similar concept, and then eventually those legs are able to like, two of those four individual like tentacle like spider almost looking legs form together to make like two regular legs and like feet and stuff for him, for Darth Maul. But yeah, so I don't believe Reva is necessarily dead, especially with what we just saw from the Grand Inquisitor showing back up. It's too big of a done deal for Reva to just be done and out yet. This episode was great. I'm really excited to see what they do next. It'll be interesting to see how they end it now, because like they said, hey, we were gonna end it one way, but now we're like reworking the ending to be able to leave it open possibly for a season 2, which is a little annoying, but whatever. I guess they'll do what they're gonna do what they're gonna do. I would have liked to have just seen this kind of be like just a one take for it, but whatever. I mean, I'll also watch more Star Wars. I'm excited for Andor and stuff in August, so that's going to be great. But yeah, this episode then, ends. Again, they zoom in with Luke. I don't know how they're going to end the final episode here. I'm super excited for it, though. I want to thank you all for joining me here on this Sci-Fi Sunday for Kenobi Part 5. Hope you all stay safe. May the Force be with you.